Now it's time for the sponsor perspective portion of the program. For that, I'd like to welcome on stage Mark L. Madrid, the CEO of the Latino Business Action Network, and Laura Jaramillo, Senior Vice President and Community Relations Manager for the Southwest region of Wells Fargo and Company. Laura, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, good morning, Mark. We are excited and energized to be here today and talk about Latino entrepreneurship, maybe some of the barriers, some of the innovations that are taking place with Wells Fargo. So we're excited about this, as I said. Wells Fargo is really proud to support some of the initiatives that LBAN is doing, but we are one of the nation's largest small business lenders. We're committed to that, we're passionate about that, and we're working with a lot of organizations who are supporting that too. Since 1995, Wells Fargo has loaned over $71 billion to small business, to minority-owned businesses, and women-owned businesses. And we're also proud to support thousands of nonprofits who also support the same missions and work with the Latino-owned businesses. So I'm really excited that we're having this discussion today. But one of the organizations that we are supporting is Mission Community Services Corporation. They're a nonprofit that provides special assistance to women-owned businesses, low-income businesses, and minority-owned businesses. And so I want to direct our attention to a short video. They have a program called, it's a Spanish language entrepreneurship called Empezando. And the short video that we will be watching here in just a second highlights one of the successes of those small businesses. So please enjoy this short video.
En febrero del 2000, yo vine a los Estados Unidos a trabajar. Todo eso de vender dulces me gustó mucho. Todos mis clientes me conocían por la señora Dulce. Un amigo, que fue mi patrón, él me dijo, Gaby, ¿por qué no pones tu propio negocio? Y yo le dije, ¿cómo lo voy a hacer? Al yo asistir a Empezando Class, recibí toda la información que yo necesitaba para poner mi propio negocio.
A lot of people come to Mission Community Services with an idea, with a passion, and if they don't know the whole spectrum of what it takes to start a business, oftentimes they fail. So our job is to help fill in those gaps.
Wells Fargo has been a supporter of this organization because they have similar missions of Wells Fargo to ensure that small businesses thrive.
No es nada más de que te dan la información, sino te dicen, te inyectan esa motivación, esas ganas de querer hacer las cosas. Aquí tienen, muchísimas gracias.
So it's a great success story, one of many, and I hope Senora Dulce is somebody that we can visit with because it sounds like a wonderful business. But as our banker on the video said, we do have a similar mission in trying to help these small businesses thrive and grow. And so we're proud to help support some of the nonprofit organizations and community organizations and leaders, including Mark Madrid, and the Latino Business Action Network, which supports Hispanic small businesses through various ways of through funding and research and mentorship. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. But you have a great research partnership with Stanford University, and this great research is helping us and other organizations to focus on those businesses that we're trying to reach as well. So Mark, what have you learned from some of the research that you found?
Well, first of all, thank you, Laura. It's great to be working with you for so many years, serving our communities, and thank you to the Hill Latino. And I'm here, frankly, talking about my favorite topic, Latino and Latina entrepreneurship. So I want us to take a moment and take a look at that, the Latino entrepreneurship and the American dream. I'm fortunate to serve as CEO of the Latino Business Action Network, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal is to double the number of 10 million, 100 million, and $1 billion Latino and Latina-owned companies in the U.S. by 2025. So there's a reason why there's action in our name. We don't not only want to talk about it, we want to do something about it. So we have three priorities: research, education, and national ecosystem development. And our first priority is research coming out of Stanford. We collaborate with Stanford University to champion the Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative. And our research is the strongest and deepest in the country on Latinx businesses across the United States. What have we learned through our State of Latino Entrepreneurship research reports? I'll give you a few takeaways from our most recent version that was released in January. One, I say it is the era of Latinas. And so Latinas are not only driving our households, but they're driving our new American economy. In fact, their growth rate is tops in terms of number of startups. And also, Latina firms represent almost half of all Latino firms across the United States. But having said that, it's a bit troubling that overall they feel like they have this perception that they are not qualified to receive financial funding. So we have to disrupt that, and I look forward to partners like Wells Fargo and helping us make sure that that's not a problem going further, a decade further, because it's a sense of urgency. Another primary research finding is in the Latino immigrant entrepreneurial space. 86% of scaled firms, meaning over $1 million of annual gross revenues in this space, are millennial. So that's something that we're going to watch and continue to track. A third finding is that our Latino and Latina business owners are international in reach. Amongst employer firms, which is firms with paid employees, Latino and Latina firms have more international clients, meaning outside the U.S., than any other group. And a fourth factor is about business loans and external sources of funds. Amongst employer firms, which again is those with paid employees, our scaled Latino and Latina business owners acquire less business loans than any other group. So, our research states that although the Latino and Latina business owner is outpacing the other groups, in some cases 3x over the last 15 years in terms of startups, only 2 to 3% of this space of Latinx entrepreneurs across the country are scaled, meaning over $1 million of annual gross revenues. So I'm happy to report on the era of the Latinas, and we have 3 alums from our scaling program, Angelique, Joanna, and Anna, and there might be more. So we're thrilled that we are the top mobilizer of scaled firms in the country through our Stanford Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative Education Scaling Program. So we put them through the top 2 percenters through a 7-week experience so that they, hopefully, some of them can double in size.
I understand, too, that from your research that 70% of those scaled businesses began by using internal funds. They're not coming to the banks. Right. Internal funds meaning they go knock on their family's doors, they use their credit cards, they use their personal savings before approaching the bank. So I think part of this process is understanding the barriers, understanding they may not feel qualified for whatever reason. A Latina woman feels unqualified to approach a bank. And yet that's what we would hope that they would do, is build the relationship first, right? Come to the bank, get to know your banker before, as somebody said earlier, you need the banker. Come talk to us and build that relationship. So what else have you found are barriers that maybe we could discuss further? Absolutely.
Well, there's still an issue with overall in the Latinx entrepreneurial space about marketing, about being prepared. So we talked about the underwriting. The congressman mentioned that. But we also need to better position our entrepreneurs to understand their financial projections, to be able to lever debt and private equity and alternative investment means, whatever is right for that business. And frankly, like we have done, it's about relationship building. To build relationships with external sources of fund providers, capital providers, before you need the money. We have cases like the first Latina in the waste management industry in the history of the United States, Maria Rios from Houston, who is not afraid to ask for money when she needs to invest in a $350,000 dump truck. So we need more of that activity. So there is that underwriting aspect, but we need to position our entrepreneurs to ask for the money before they need it and to establish that as their growth mindset.
I think that one of the innovations at Wells Fargo has been a program that we call the Diverse Community Capital Program.
Yes.
And that's to help those businesses who are not ready to approach the bank or not able to at this point. So our lending is to the nonprofit CDFIs, Community Development Financial Institutions, so that they then lend the monies out. And also grant monies from that program help the nonprofits provide additional resources. So that's one program of several that I think you're very familiar with. And I know you've worked with Wells Fargo in some other ways, leadership programs as well, and chamber initiatives that we do.
Yes, it seems like at every stage of my career, there's been a stagecoach, including when I had to shut down the bank during the recession, and through my career through the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Austin Hispanic Chamber of Commerce as CEO, and now in this national position, Wells Fargo continues to invest in diverse communities and inclusiveness. And what I would like to say in closing is that let's all realize that U.S. Latinos constitute the 7th largest GDP in the world, based on the Latino GDP report. And yes, I think there's some applause there. And a driving force of that GDP is our Latino and Latina entrepreneurs, because they're connected to the household. So this is an American economic imperative. It's a sense of urgency, and I'm thankful that you all get it.
Well, thank you. We're absolutely out of time. That's all the time we have today. So let's thank Mark for being with us today and supporting the community so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.